Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about wealth and the generational transfer of wealth from generation to generation throughout history, and the fact that this particular generational wealth transfer could effectively boost the cryptocurrency industry into the multi-trillions. So Monetary Wonk, that's at Monetary Wonk, tweeted this about a week ago. Credit Fundstrat, so that is Tom Lee, for those of you guys who don't know, for making this case. He put together a very good presentation on the millennial effect 1 to 2 years ago. And it links to this article here, Will Bitcoin Reach 50,000 because of the Great Wealth Transfer? I'm just going to go through the article and then we're going to talk a little bit about Tom Lee's presentation. So will Bitcoin reach 50,000 because of the Great Wealth Transfer? Bitcoin could skyrocket in upcoming years, climbing more than 1,000% to $50,000 as millennials inherit the wealth of baby boomers, according to Ryan Selkis, founder and CEO of cryptocurrency research firm Messari. And this concept isn't new, right? We know that the baby boomers inherited some wealth from the previous generation, but also created a lot of their own wealth within the last 30 years due to favorable market conditions. And when you have families who have been wealthy for generations and generations, you guys may or may not know that generations that follow just tend to get wealthier because they have more opportunity in terms of a financial cushion, so long as they invest that money correctly. There are lots of generations who squander the money that they inherit and go to zero. Those are, of course, extreme cases, but a lot of these people who inherit money, families with old money is what they call it, tend to teach their kids about investing, and that essentially just perpetuates more wealth and more wealth down the road for years and more generations to come. So over the next few decades, millennials stand to receive trillions of dollars through the Great Wealth Transfer, he noted in a tweet. Many expect this demographic to receive $30 trillion, he stated, and if only 1% of this sum, so $300 billion, goes into digital currencies, crypto will become a multi-trillion-dollar asset class. So he talks a little bit about this, and we look at a $50,000 Bitcoin, and today that might seem a lot, but I could theoretically see Bitcoin go a whole lot higher than that. Tom Lee outlines this in his presentation. Now, guys, this presentation was from February 2018, so the numbers are a little inflated. As you know, we were just coming out of the bull run of 2017, but Tom Lee brings up some very good points. Guys, I will link this video in the description. It's about 20 minutes long, and it really kind of paints a great picture as to how the crypto market could evolve as the millennial generation gets older, gains more earning power, and uses their prime earning and investing years to invest in something that is generationally kind of geared towards them. So Tom Lee talks a lot in this video. I'm just going to synopsize a few points for you guys. And he discusses digital trust and national trust of the government in and amongst different countries. He gives a few slides. Again, guys, these are all in the video here. But he talks about how there are certain countries in the world, of course, who do not trust their government. And the correlation to those countries to their interest in cryptocurrencies is a lot higher than, let's say, countries who do trust their government. Then he goes on to talk about millennials and how, guess what the percentage is of millennials who do not trust banks. So the number he suggests in the study that he conducts is that 92% of millennials do not trust banking institutions. That's right, guys. 92%. That is an enormous amount of people born between 1980 and the year 2000 who do not trust banks, i.e. centralized institutions under heavy regulation. And there are reasons for this. They saw their parents lose their houses in the mortgage crisis of 2008, right? They see governments as corrupt, giving bailouts to bankers who are also corrupt. And so 92% of millennials do not trust banks. That is a huge amount. And what exactly does cryptocurrency have to do with that? Well, the answer is very clear. Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin in particular, is a decentralized way for you to store your wealth. Now, that's not to say that banks are not going to exist in the future. All right, the system's not falling apart, and this is why I think Ripple and XRP will thrive in the future. But if we just talk about ideology and the philosophy of one of the biggest generational cohorts with regards to technology and blockchain, we can see how the crypto market will thrive. Tom Lee talks about the generational differences with technological advancements. He talks about the baby boomers and how when they were in their 20s and 30s, the advent of the PC computer, the personal computer, was first and foremost, it was central in their homes, in their lives, and that was the big technological push at that time. When Gen X came to be in their 20s and 30s, we started seeing things like digital photographs, MP3s, cell phones, right? Cellular networks as becoming an essential part of life, right? A big part of the lives of that generation. And with millennials, we're telling a different story. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, social media, all those things were very influential on how millennials shape their lives. And so another development in technology, not only social media, but blockchain technology. And Tom Lee suggests that this technology, since it is coupled with finance, could have a huge impact on the cryptocurrency market 10 years and 20 years down the road. Let's examine a little further. So he talks a little bit about how these generations decided to invest their money and how each generation had their own thing. So millennials in their late 20s and into their 30s, mid-30s, late 30s, these are their prime earning years. And not only that, they're prime saving and investing years. And with the silent generation, he says that a lot of them invested in gold. So this was the generation before the baby boomers. Gold was at $40 an ounce, and gold prices increased for several decades. It was a good investment tool, a good store of value for that generation in order to see their money grow a little faster than having their money sitting in a bank account. With baby boomers entering their 30s, mid-30s, they were buying up equities, stocks, and throughout the 80s, despite the crash of the late 80s and into the 90s, basically the entire decade of the 90s, there was a lot of prosperity in American equity markets. And there were a lot of baby boomers that made a lot of money off equity trading. He talks a little bit about Generation X, although he does gloss over Gen X as kind of not really a generation that moved the needle too much in terms of economic influence. There are a lot of other socioeconomic factors at play there, although he did mention that Gen X was really big into hedge funds. Nevertheless, he does focus on millennials and the now generation looking into cryptocurrencies as that alternative investment to really move the needle higher. So he talks about millennials and how there is a $1 trillion savings inflow for the millennials as an entire generation. Tom Lee also talks about how that first group of millennials turned about 35 years old, so their prime earning and prime saving years in about 2016. And 2016 was when we really started to see Bitcoin move up in price slowly and steadily. Guys, I did do a video on this a few days ago. Coincidentally enough, nobody was talking about 2016, and sure enough, Tom Lee was. But 2016 was a big year for Bitcoin, and nobody really talks about how it just moved up in price throughout the entire calendar year. 2017 was the same kind of thing. And so his theory is that millennials are starting to save their money and deciding to put it into Bitcoin, an emerging asset class. And so Tom also did the math on how that affects the market. And so for every $1 billion that enters the cryptocurrency market, that equates to approximately $25 billion in asset appreciation. So you dump $1 billion in, and all the cryptocurrencies in the crypto market will gain collaboratively 25 times, so 25 billion, what they were worth before you dumped in that $1 billion. So he goes on to reason that now that millennials are becoming older, they're in their prime earning and prime saving years of their life. They do not believe in banks. Blockchain is their jam. Looking for an alternative investment is what they're focused on. He suggests that even if they only put in 10% of their inflow, their savings flow of $1 trillion, that's $100 billion, that could essentially move the cryptocurrency market $2.5 trillion every year for that generational time. The 20 years that they are the generation who has the most influence, financially, politically, all that. So if you watch this video, guys, it was done in February 2018, so the numbers are a little off. I'm going to talk about the numbers a little later. Tom Lee essentially estimates, based on February 2018's market cap, that Bitcoin could reach a $10 million price value in 20 years. I actually even think that he made a miscalculation on the math. I think what he meant was $1 million. Somebody, if you can triple check the math for me, because I did do it twice, put it in the comments. But we know in February 2018 that was an inflated market. Right now we've kind of reset, kind of back down to where the market feels comfortable, where buyers and sellers are essentially equal. So what could those numbers numbers be today? Well, let's take a look. So, this is the wrong title up here. So, between 2016 and 2036, Millennials' time to shine. If the cryptocurrency market cap grows during the Millennials' prime earning and investing years, and they put only 10% of their investments into cryptocurrencies. Right now, the market cap, guys, is about 175 billion. Okay, we take a 2.5 trillion, so that's millennials putting 10% in, which would bring us to about $50 trillion at the end of 20 years. Okay, so in this generation, I took 2.5 trillion times 20, brings us to 50 trillion. And when you divide 50 trillion by today's cryptocurrency market, what we have is a 285 times gain in market capitalization for the entire market. So when people say the Bitcoin price could be between 1 and 1.5 million per Bitcoin in 20 years, 15, 20, 25 years, I don't think that that is too far-fetched. If you only have one Bitcoin today and you bought it at whatever it's trading at today, you know, whether you bought it a while ago and you paid $3,500 or $5,000 or $7,000, no matter what you bought it at, that minuscule investment could garner you a Bitcoin worth over $1 million. That's right, guys, a Bitcoin over $1 million. And if you take any cryptocurrency right now and whatever the price it's trading at, multiply it by 285, you'll really see the numbers of what cryptocurrencies could get to in 20 years after the millennials' time to shine is over in the year 2036, give or take. But guys, not only that, we're only taking into consideration millennials' prime investing, their jobs, what they've saved, what they're investing. But not only that, guys, we are forgetting to take into consideration this. Baby boomers to hand down $68 trillion in great wealth transfer. And so this just adds more gravy to the prime rib and mashed potatoes. Okay, you take that 6.8 trillion. And of course, some people might invest it all. Some people might need it to survive off of. Everybody's situation is different. But that just goes to show you how big the cryptocurrency market could get once the millennials really start buying what they believe in, pumping more money into cryptocurrencies as a whole, and watching their wealth grow just like their parents before them. To me, seeing a $1 million Bitcoin in 20 years, I think is estimating it a little low. Also, I want you to multiply the price of XRP today by 285 times and see what you get. Are you happy with that return in 20 years? I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.